Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zank here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Rank, where I climb the online VGC 15 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. Really intense episode yesterday, so if you've not watched that, definitely check it out, but we were able to pick up 1 win and 1 loss, so currently we're just under 1800, and the goal of this week is really to finish with a rating of over 1800, so let's see if we can pick up a bunch of wins today. As always, if you enjoy Road to Rank, please share your support by leaving a like on the video. Just take a quick second and I'd really appreciate it. As we find a 1881 rated player from Japan. Wow. In addition, I'm probably going to get the Trick Room Team analysis up later today, so keep your eyes open for that. I do apologize for being so delayed with all this additional content, but school's been really busy, as you may have noticed. But anyway, my opponent here has a team of Gengar, Terrakion, Whimsicott, Bisharp, Charizard, and Lando T. So immediately the Whimsicott Gengar, combination is there. Whimsicott Terrakion as well. Really annoying core to deal with. And then Charizard is another Mega Evolution, Lando and Bisharp. So let's see. I do have Thunderous to potentially taunt the Gengar, or Whimsicott. Liepard's not a bad lead here, I think. I actually like Liepard Terrakion or Liepard Crest. Let's see. So Scizor is solid here. Definitely gonna want Terrakion to beat the Charizard should my opponent bring it. I kind of like Liepard Terrakion actually as my lead. Yeah. I'm thinking Breloom for the Bisharp and the Terrakion. And for the last one, Scizor's alright here. I don't think it's too fantastic though, honestly. Maybe Cresselia or Thundurus. Leaning towards Thundurus here though. Yeah, ability to HP Ice and Thunder Wave things is really nice, I think. So I'm gonna bring Thundurus and we'll see how this plays out. But yeah, my opponent has a bunch of options right from the start. You know, with the cool thing of running Whimsicott is you have a lot of, possibilities with it right away. So we might see Whimsicott Gengar, Whimsicott Terrakion, or we might see like Landorus T come out. But I feel like my leads give me enough options, and we do see the Gengar Whimsicott lead come out, which is alright here. So the nice thing here is Liepard, because it can Encore, can just immediately Encore my opponent should he try to do anything fancy. I could go for the Foul Play Rock Slide play onto Gengar. And I'm actually going to make that play, yeah. So Gengar does Mega Evolve, and like I said, if it chooses to Protect, then I can Encore it in to protect the following turn. I'd really like to eliminate Gengar immediately, since Whimsicott's not doing very much offense-wise. He goes for the Protect with Whimsicott, okay. Does Gengar Protect as well? He goes for the Will-O-Wisp, perfect. So that's going to go into the Terrakion, but I have the Lumberry, so this works out perfectly. So as long as I don't miss the Rock Slide, I think I'll be able to knock out the Gengar here. As Rock Slide does fortunately connect with the Gengar, which is fantastic. Which I'm not sure if Foul Play can knock it out. Let's see. As perfect, it picks up the KO. So I was not anticipating Whimsicott going for a Protect. It's not a Pokemon that carries Protect too often either, mainly because, it's one of those support Pokemon that really likes to use support moves, and because, it likes to use support moves, it can't really fit Protect as much, but that's fine as Landorus T comes in for my opponent. So I just knocked out my opponent's Mega Evolution without taking really anything, so I'm obviously quite pleased with that. I'm going to go for the Foul Play onto the Landorus, and I'm going to switch out Terrakion into Thundurus. Probably going to see an Earthquake come out here. I'm fine with that. Liepard might actually be able to take it. I don't know what item the Landorus T has either, so I want to see whether it has like Scarf. If it's not Scarf, then Liepard will just be able to outspeed and get a Foul Play off, which should put it in KO range from anything else. But yeah, that first turn played out perfectly. Like, I didn't even expect it to play it out that way, but like that's the nice thing with Liepard. You can make those plays knowing that should your opponent Protect, you can Encore them the following turn. So I'm going to bring in Thundurus here, as he goes for the Tailwind with Whimsicott. A good play there, but I can just Encore him into Tailwind the following turn, unless of course he has Taunt. He actually goes for the U-turn there with Landorus. Great play there. I'm actually going to be able to hang on with 10 HP, but the fact that he went before Liepard indicates to me that he is Choice Scarfed, so that's good information to know. And it's also good because, if my opponent locks himself into Earthquake as Terrakion comes in, this could actually be very scary, as Foul Play here is going to give it the Justified boost. So well done by my opponent there. That was really smartly managed. And now I'm actually in a pretty bad position, though. Of course, I do have let's see. I do have the Breloom, which can just knock it out with a Mach Punch. So that's what I'm going to try to do. So I'm going to Encore the Whimsicott. And I think I should switch Thundurus out, because we're going to see a Rock Slide come out. Yeah. Gonna Encore Whimsicott, switch out into Terrakion to take the Rock Slide, and then I get a free switch into Breloom, to which I can just Mach Punch his Terrakion. Intimidate from Landorus Seed does make this a bit tricky, but I'm fine. I do get that Encore against Whimsicott. Let's see if it has Mental Orb, though. If it does, it's probably going to go for the beat-up play. Nope, but I do lock him into Tailwind. And he does just go for the Rock Slide. His Terrakion avoids it, but Liepard is going to be fainting here. That was a really, really smart play by my opponent, though. Like, I should have expected the Tailwind U-turn play. Would have been maybe a bit better just to Encore the Whimsicott there earlier when it was locked into Protect, but that's alright. So I'm going to bring in my Breloom here, and this is really, really good for me. Let's see. So, I think the best play for my opponent's got to switch out Whimsicott, so I could Spore that slot. Or I could just Bullet Seed Terrakion and protect my Terrakion. Though the one issue with that is if he protects with his own Terrakion. Okay, I'm actually going to Spore the Whimsicott slot and switch out into Thundurus. And that's pretty obvious switch out, so getting the Spore against the Landorus here is really good. The main question is what he did with this Terrakion. I would anticipate either a close combat into my Terrakion slot or a Protect. Maybe he close combated Breloom though, or maybe he even went for a Rock Slide. But there's, you know, I'm guaranteed the Spore off here unless he flinches me with Rock Slide. But he does go for the Protect, which is absolutely perfect for me here. So that's basically what I was expecting. So Spore does come out. It is able to put that Landorus T to sleep, which is really, really helpful at this point in the game. As, yeah, that plays out perfectly. So I'm going to go for the Bullet Seed here onto the Terrakion. And, let's see. I could just go for HP Ice onto Landorus, but I'm not going to, because Rock Slide at +1 might actually be able to KO me. And in retrospect, maybe Mach Punch would have been a better play onto Terrakion, because it means he can't flinch me. And Mach Punch is a 2-hit KO anyway, so I'm actually regretting the Bullet Seed play here, because he might get the flinch. Landorus does take the first turn of sleep, and it is indeed Choice Scarfed. He does go for that Rock Slide. Terrakion avoids it once again, but it is going to connect with Breloom, probably doing around 40 to 50%. Yeah, does it flinch? It doesn't flinch, okay. So of course the merit of using Bullet Seed over Mach Punch is I could most likely pick up a KO, as it does. Mach Punch would have been a 2-hit KO, but you know, that's alright. So I pick up the knockout there, and the good thing now especially is because this Landorus is Scarfed, he's got to lock himself into attack, and you would expect him to lock himself into, say, Rock Slide, as Whimsicott does come back out, because he's got to hit the Thundurus in the back. So I'm just going to go for the Bullet Seed and Rock Slide play. And the thing is, Rock Slide obviously doesn't do anything against my fighting type, so my opponent does forfeit. So relatively quick game there, but I feel like I was able to really get the advantage right from the start after knocking out Mega Gengar, and then predicting the Landorus switch in and getting the Spore off there was huge. Of course, if the Terrakion didn't protect there and close combated, it would have been fine off anyway, especially because the close combat would have actually put it in Mach Punch KO range. So, you know, I was just playing to all my options there, and I really feel like that first turn gave me so much momentum right from the start. So Liepard Terrakion was definitely the right lead there, and I'm pretty pleased about how that played out. So we're just going to jump onto the ladder. Now with a rating of 1814, which is fantastic. So, you know, I was over 1800 for a point yesterday, but then I lost the second game. But let's see if we can keep it up today and win the second match of today's episode. Regardless, though, it's nice. You know, it's pretty cool. The rankings did reset just last week, so to be over 1800 already is fun, but, you know, we want to get over 1900. As a Japanese opponent with a rating of 1719 is our next opponent of the day, and quite the interesting team here. I'm a big fan. Gardevoir, Infernape, Tyranitar, Excadrill, Escavalier, and Talonflame. So, you know, Infernape, not that common, and it's interesting to see Infernape paired with Tyranitar, because Tyranitar, obviously with Sandstream, gets rid of Focus Sashes, which Infernape tends to like. Two potential Mega Evolutions on my opponent's team here, in Gardevoir and Tyranitar. Escavalier here is really interesting. You know, I love Escavalier, especially because my brother actually won the 2013 World Championships with it in the Juniors division, with the Choice Band variant that basically no one had used up to that point. Escavalier does get a bunch of cool options, especially now with Drill Run from the move tutors, but, you know, you normally see it on Trick Room teams, so I'm kind of curious as to its function on my opponent's team here. In terms of lead matchup, let's see. So Tyranitar is, Tyranitar Excadrill obviously checked by Breloom, but, you know, the Talonflame can Brave Bird, Infernape can Fire type attack it, Gardevoir can, you know, use a Psychic or Fairy type attack, and then Tyranitar with Sandstream can also get rid of my Focus Sash. So I'm gonna have to be a little bit careful about that. I don't think Cresselia is a good Pokemon to bring in this one, so I'm gonna just eliminate that in terms of team preview. Scizor is kind of tempting, but he's got the double fire, so if I do bring Scizor, I've got to make sure I can cover those fire types. Thundurus and Terrakion is actually a pretty appealing lead match, though. Let me just lead option here, though. Though, that is kind of weak to Excadrill. So maybe Thundurus Breloom instead. And I'm going to go Scizor Terrakion. So I'm going to go full offense this game. Like, Liepard's a Pokemon that likes to disrupt, but I don't know. In this game, I feel like it's not a great option because Infernape can knock it out with a fighting type attack. Gardevoir can knock it out with a fairy type attack. Talonflame can Brave Bird it, so I just don't exactly like my matchup here with Liepard. And Cresselia, of course, doesn't fare very well in general. But we are going to see the Gardevoir and Infernape lead here against my Thundurus and Breloom. So, pretty interesting lead matchup right from the start as Gardevoir traces the Prankster. Let's see. So we already have some mind games because, you know, the Infernape is probably going to want to fake out, like, the best play for my opponent is to fake out Breloom and go for a Fairy type attack. Maybe like a Dazzling Gleam. I mean, I could just protect Breloom, but like the reason why I wouldn't protect Breloom here is so if he fakes out Thundurus and I can just Spore. I'm going to go for the Thunder Wave. Yeah, I'll Thunder Wave Infernape and go for the Spore onto Gardevoir. So it is Mega Gardevoir, okay. Not a good lead matchup here, though. I should have considered the Gardevoir lead a bit better, but the thing is, this team is pretty weak to Fairy types, and like Scizor is my own answer to it. And my opponent did lead with Infernape. But we do just see the fake out go onto Breloom. Okay. So obviously I could have just protected there and Thunder Waved Infernape, but I was really scared of the fake out onto Thundurus and a like Dazzling Gleam as not a Dazzling Gleam, a Hyper Voice. So Gardevoir does get that Hyper Voice off. That does so much damage. Unfortunately knocking out Breloom there, and Thundurus takes a lot of damage as well. So this is not a good start to the battle, and I just don't like my options, including what I have in the back. You know, I could go for Power Flinches right away, but I really don't want to do that. And it was bad losing Breloom because that was my best answer to Tyranitar Excadrill, which I'd assume my opponent has in the back. So, not a good start. Not a good start. Trying to think of my options here. You know, I could bring in Scizor, go for a Thunderbolt onto Infernape, and a Protect with Scizor. But I kind of also want to Swords Dance with Scizor here. Like I know I can take another Hyper Voice with Thundurus. He's gonna go for the Hyper Voice. Well, I'll just Protect with Scizor, I guess. It's too risky. See, the thing here is I'm already really behind, but I think the way I can win this one, and it's crazy that I'm already this behind after the first turn, but I just did not play that very well. I mean, in terms of lead matchup, I just didn't lead well either. But what I can do is, if I can get a Paralysis or a Flinch on the Infernape with the Rock Slide and Scizor gets a Swords Dance up, then I can still definitely keep myself in this game. So Thundurus actually outspeeds Gardevoir, which is good information to know as he goes for a Hyper Voice there. Let's see. Yeah, I hang on with 10 HP, and he does overheat into Swords Dance. Okay, this is actually really good for me now, because what I can do is go straight for the Thunderbolt onto Infernape and go for a Swords Dance now. And the The Gardevoir's a bit slower than I thought it would be, but this is really, really good. Because I'll be able to knock out Infernape, preventing him from getting a Fire-type attack against Scizor, get his Swords Dance up, and then I can Bullet Punch the Gardevoir for a KO the following turn, and Terrakion puts on immense pressure. Of course, if my opponent has Excadrill in the back, will be a very scary match, but the thing is, in order to get Excadrill out, he's got to really send out Tyranitar first, and Scizor at +2 can actually beat Gardevoir and Tyranitar with relative ease. So that last turn played out perfectly, and Thundurus being able to survive here is really, really important because it means I can get a Swords Dance up. I also was very close to Swords Dancing there, expecting him to just target Thundurus, but you know, after how the first turn played out, how he just went for the Fake Out onto Breloom, I assumed he'd go for the Fire-type attack onto Scizor. My opponent is probably feeling the pressure at this point because he doesn't have many great answers to Scizor, bar the maybe Talonflame. Nice thing about beating the Talonflame though is my Terrakion can just Rock Slide and KO it, so I really just want to get this Infernape out of the way. He switches out Gardevoir, which I'm perfectly okay with, though I'd assume Tyranitar would be coming in here, but it's actually going to be a Scavalier, which is also a great switch in. But this actually ends up playing even better because not only do I knock out Infernape, but I get a free Swords Dance up with Scizor, and Thundurus hangs around for another turn, so really, really good turn for me there as I am able to slowly come back in this game. And you know, Scizor, once it gets a Swords Dance off, is fantastic, but unfortunately my opponent's last Pokemon is Talonflame, and I'm not especially pleased to see that. If it were like Tyranitar or Excadrill, I feel like winning this would be a lot easier. Now we have an interesting matchup because the question is, you know, I can just protect with Scizor here and Thunderbolt Talonflame, but that's such an obvious play because he can just Brave Bird Thundurus. Oh, this is really tough. So, do I protect Scizor here? Yeah, if I protect Scizor, he gets the Brave Bird off against Thundurus. I'm done for. Protect Thunderbolt is such an obvious play. Yeah, I'm actually going to go for the Thunder Wave and the knockoff. In the off chance he goes for the Flare Blitz. Oh, he goes for the Brave Bird. Okay, great. I'm guessing that's targeting down Thundurus. And a Scavalier should not be able to knock out... Yeah, perfect. So I make the right prediction there, and fortunately enough, it pays off. Let's see how much this knockoff will do, though. As obviously it takes very little recoil. Is he banded? Oh my goodness, knockoff picks up the KO. So, you know, had I had Bug Bite there, I don't think I could have won. But, oh, Sky Play as Drill Run comes out from the Excadrill. So beating Excadrill here is still going to be a problem, but he actually did not do nearly as much damage to Scizor as I would have expected there. So this is looking really good for me right now, as Gardevoir is going to come out. Because of that damage output, what I can do is just Bullet Punch Gardevoir here. And, yeah, I'm going to Bullet Punch Gardevoir and Protect with Terrakion. My opponent might protect Gardevoir and Drill Run Scizor, but even if he does, then I can just Bullet Punch, Rock Slide, or Close Combat the following turn. And it looks like I might actually be able to win this one after a very, very scary turn 1. But basically, Scizor was the key to winning this one. Obviously, it's not over yet. Now, I don't want to double protect this turn because there's a chance that Gardevoir has Trick Room, given that it was slower than Thundurus. And, you know, Gardevoir being base 100 and my Thundurus being bulky, I thought maybe he has Trick Room. So I'm going to play it safe here and just try to prevent Trick Room from even going up in the first place. He doesn't protect with either Pokemon, so +2 Bullet Punch here should be able to pick up the knockout as it does. So, Scizor being able to knock out Talonflame and Gardevoir here, really doing so much work. Drill Run does go into Scizor, so good play by my opponent there, but it's not even a 5-4, it's not even a 4-hit KO. I mean, it might be due to damage rolls, but I just am very surprised by how unoffensive, really, the Excadrill here is, though Scizor is also kind of, you know, pretty defensive in Mega Form. I think it's really interesting also to see Excadrill go up against Scizor because in the 2013 World Championships, in the Junior Finals, my brother had Excadrill and his opponent, Fuko, actually had Scizor. Of course, not a Mega Evolution that year, but yeah. So, I'm just going to go for the Close Combat, the knockoff, and even if that doesn't KO the following turn, it should be able to. So, my opponent's just going to forfeit, as Scizor, really the MVP of today's episode, but especially of this match. Like, after that first turn, I thought I was in so much trouble, but I think, you know, once I realized Gardevoir was actually slower than Thundurus, which I absolutely was not expecting, then knocking out Infernape became a lot easier. Getting that Swords Dance up for free was huge, and then predicting my opponent to Brave Bird Thundurus instead of Flare Blitzing the Scizor. So that ends up playing out perfectly, so that should put our rating around 1830, which is really neat. So I'd actually be excited and see if we can, you know, reach a rating of like over 1850 by the end of the week with this team. But it's been a lot of fun. Of course, this is Barry Anderson's team, or you know, he's the one who's really been using it for this year and the end of VGC 2013. And he does have a YouTube channel, as I've mentioned a bunch of times. So go check him out because he is a fantastic player and a great YouTuber as well. One of the few people who provides quality content in terms of VGC that, you know, has made it to the World Championships before, other than myself and Alex Agloza. So go give him a check out. But yeah. That's it for this one, guys. We are able to pick up 2 wins today in a shorter than normal episode. I actually want to show you guys something. So, as you know, I won Apex back 2 months ago, actually, and they never actually gave me the trophy there, but I got it in the mail yesterday, so I figured I'd show it to you guys, because it is a pretty neat trophy. So you see there, Apex 2015 Tournament Champion, and they've got the Pokemon Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire like engraved in it, so it's really neat. But I'd like to thank you guys all really for the support and everything, because winning this would not have been possible without your support. And I really enjoyed the team I used there. Of course, that was the Mega Venusaur team, which we used on Road to Rank for about forever. But just wanted to show you guys that, because I really owe my victories in VGC to you guys. You guys motivate me to train harder and practice. So thank you guys. That's 2 months overdue, but I'm looking forward to what else I'll be able to do in this VGC season, especially with the World's Invite basically locked up. So yeah, that's it for this one, guys. The Trick Room team analysis will be up later today. I'll get around to the Mega Lopunny team analysis this weekend as well, and finally going to be able to catch up on some content that I've been missing out on. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I shall see you next time. Alright, peace. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to check out Clash Tournaments, my sponsor on YouTube and Twitter. They offer some of the best Super Smash Bros. Content out there, and I'm super grateful for them. In addition, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitch, as you see in the boxes below. See you guys soon!